drugs. We as a society have a rather interesting take on it. The government and other institutions like schools have drilled into our brains how dangerous drugs can be and how it can potentially ruin your life. In the media, however, the opposite is true. Movies love to depict hedonistic characters engaging in abusing drugs. There's a whole day dedicated to smoking weed, and the Midnight Gospel awed many audiences with its trippy visuals mixed with the philosophical musings of life. Canada recently made it legal to use psilocybin as an option of end-of-life treatment. It's quite the interesting contrast that hasn't truly been seen before, and it's not too surprising to see that artists have engaged in drugs as well. Jimi Hendrix will forever be associated with the psychedelic scene in the 1960s. Seth Rogen has made a career off of smoking weed, and Stephen King has gone on record about his struggle with alcohol, cocaine, and a wide variety of other substances while writing some of his most critically acclaimed books. However, there is a downside effect to using drugs. They can be very addicting for a lot of people, and certain drugs will have you hooked after one use. Some of them you just can't quit because withdrawal will be a bitch to deal with, but in some cases, you can indeed die by withdrawing. Jean-Michel Basquiat passed away from a heroin overdose. Amy Winehouse died as a result of her alcohol addiction. That's not even going into the more dangerous drugs such as lean or cocaine, which has heavily impacted the music industry. Lil Peep died as a result of overdosing on Xanax laced in fentanyl. Why people use substances will depend from person to person. One common answer is that using substances helps them with their creativity. One common substance is marijuana. It is best known for its sedating and relaxing properties, although some strains, primarily known as sativas, are known to make the user more active and euphoric. Other substances have been cited to help with the creative process as well. Even prescribed medication like antidepressants have been reported to help artists. However, I ask that you please take these claims with a grain of salt. Mental illness and living circumstances can also play a factor in using drugs. It is a fact that children who were abused are more likely to engage in substance abuse than those who weren't. If drugs were an active presence in the child's life, it can be easy for them to develop those addictions. Another possible answer is the association of art, drugs, and dopamine. It sounds confusing, but trust me, it's not. Artists who use drugs during the creative process use it to help produce dopamine. A lot of depressed people tend to go for the arts to help them feel good, and a lot of drugs tend to contribute to producing dopamine as well. Eventually, your mind gets conditioned into associating art and doing drugs as good, and it will release dopamine. And if we really want to, there are reports of people who claim that psychedelics like psilocybin and LSD helped awaken their creativity. As I said before, take these claims with a grain of salt. Psychedelics are considered a Schedule A drug, which means not only is it illegal, but there is little to no medical benefit with it. The final theory is how artists are in a constant need to experience just about anything in life. Experimenting with drugs is not unheard of for a lot of artists. Just watch an episode of Tales from the Trip and you'll know what I'm talking about. However, this kind of recklessness can lead to trouble. Going back to Lil Peep's death, he overdosed on Xanax that was laced with fentanyl. Drugs can be laced with other materials that could easily injure or kill someone. Like I said before, these are at best theories. Throughout this video essay, I have been talking about the illegal substances, but what about the legal stuff? Cigarettes? Alcohol? Caffeine? I think there's a discussion to be had regarding how normalized abusing these substances are compared to their more illicit counterparts. People love to joke about how they need alcohol to even function for the day as a form of self-deprecation. However, I see that more as a subconscious cry for help. That's not helped by the fact that products and merchandise help sell this image that being addicted to caffeine and alcohol is okay. Just as long as you hate your life due to circumstances capitalism has left you in, it's not called addiction, it's just called coping with stress. We could also talk about how alcohol and cigarettes are just as, if not more dangerous compared to substances like prescription pills and weed. However, this isn't about whether or not illegal substances should be used. This is about the drug scene and art. As you can see, this isn't a very straightforward video. There's not even a conclusion to this thesis aside from, here are these possible answers, don't do drugs, okay? However, I'm aware that people are going to do drugs with or without my PSA. The only thing I ask is if you are going to be engaging in using drugs, do your research, be safe, and most importantly, be smart.